Okay, let us start our session today. Hope you see the slide.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, let's proceed with the last time we discussed about theories of production. We saw how to compute some of those terminologies, some of the concepts in production. We saw some of the how do we compute marginal product, marginal product, marginal product, total product, average product, and others. And we saw how to compute the level of output that maximize the level of input that maximize output using those formulas. The optimal level, the condition that maximize output. And you remember we discussed a bit about stages of production. Those are 3 stages: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. So let us proceed with this section. It's about cost theory, and then we are going to combine both production and the cost so that we can compute the profit. How do we get the profit or the level that maximizes profit? So starting with the cost theory, actually cost analysis, this is a process of estimating, evaluating, or breaking down the costs that are associated with producing goods or service. In any production, we need to compute the cost. How much is it cost when we produce a certain level of output? But before computation, we need to know some of the concepts. When you say cost of inputs, what does it mean? The cost of inputs, normally we take the number of input times the price of input. Okay, for example, if you have like, let's say if you employ 1 labor, input can be labor, as I said last time, can be capital, can be raw materials, etc. So we need to value this cost. We need to value this input based on the level of what price. For example, if you employ 1 labor, it costs like you pay that, but you pay by, let's say the wage is, let's say 100,000. So if you employ 1, you pay 100,000 per month. If you employ 2, that means you have to pay 200,000. Similarly, for the raw materials, so we have to compute the cost of input by taking the number of input times the price of that input. And when you say the total cost, that means we have to totalize or to sum up what the total cost of producing a particular level of what? Of output. But the cost, cost in this section, actually we're going to discuss two types of cost. We're going to discuss the cost in the short run, and we're going to discuss the cost in the long run. But before that, we need to start with short run cost. When you say short run cost, this involves one factor: inputs must be fixed. In the short run, normally the firm's inputs to production are fixed. When I say one factor input must be fixed, that initially, for example, if you want to invest, first of all, you have to buy like land. Let's say you want to invest on agriculture, you need to buy a land. That land is fixed. Okay, it's a short term. But other factor inputs can vary. For example, the number of people can vary. You can employ 1 labor, you can employ 2, 4, 5, 6, etc. But the land must be fixed. So one condition under short run, one factor input must be what? Must be fixed. When you say fixed, it does not change. That is under short run. Okay? But let's see, when you say total, when you say, I mean, cost can be categorized in various ways. For example, when you say total fixed cost, these are costs that do not vary with varying output, like land. If the value of land is let's say 1 million, that 1 million should remain as it is. The value of that land should be, if the land is fixed, that means, let's say you have 1 acre, that 1 acre should be as it is. It cannot vary. Okay? And the value of that land should not vary, depending on what? Regardless of the time. So when you say total fixed cost, this is a cost that do not vary with varying output. When you say do not vary with the varying output, regardless of what you produce, that input will remain as it is. For example, a 1 acre should be 1 acre, regardless of what you produce. That we call total fixed what? Total fixed cost. But when you say total variable cost, these are inputs that vary. The cost of that input must vary. Kwa mfano, if you employ 1 labor, the cost of paying 1 labor is 1 million. Let's say you are paying 1 million per 1 labor, right? If you employ the second, you have to pay 1 million times what? Times 2. If you employ 3, that means you have to multiply. So total variable factor cost, these are costs that vary directly with the varying what? Output. The more you produce, the more the cost becomes, right? But for the total fixed cost, regardless of what you produce, the cost will remain as it is. Sometimes we call it an investment cost. Yani ile inabaki kama ilivyo, right? Let's see an example here. Take a look this table here. Q, the column Q represent what? Okay, this is just Q represent output. When Q is 0, that means you are not producing anything. All right. When Q is 0, that means you are not producing. But the fixed cost is what? The fixed cost, the cost is 60,000 shillings. You don't produce anything here. But this is an investment cost. It's the fixed cost. For example, the cost of land. So this one will remain as it is, regardless of what you produce, right? That does not vary with the varying what? Output. For example, if the output is 2, the fixed cost will remain as it is. If the output is 4, similarly, the fixed cost will be. So by definition, we said cost does not vary with the varying what? Output. And this is the total variable cost. Total variable cost vary with varying what? Output. You see, when output was 1, the fixed cost is there. It's similar, 6,000. This is a variable cost, 3,000. Variable cost, this is the cost of variable, of what? Other factor inputs that can vary. For example, it can be the cost of labor, cost of raw materials. The more you produce, the more raw materials you need, the more cost it is. There is a variation, right? The more you employ, the more the cost it is. But the fixed cost will remain at is. Total cost, this total cost is the summation of fixed cost plus what? Total variable cost. Kwa hiyo total cost hapa is the sum of what? Total cost is the sum of, you sum up the value of the fixed cost. Initially, we don't have variable cost. Manake ni kwamba we have just invested but we are not yet starting to produce. We didn't employ, we have no cost of raw materials here. But when you start producing, like let's say 1 unit, there are some costs, there are total variable cost implication here. Manake hapa you have employed people, you have bought some raw materials, but the fixed costs remain what? As it is. And this is the total cost. Total cost you have to sum up. This plus this one is 9,000. This plus this one, 10,000. That's how it is. So in the above table, as you have seen that example, the total fixed cost is what? 6,000, regardless of the level of output, right? This reflects to a figure. We can see the figure here. This is a figure, if you go to the book, Professor Manamba book, this table is there. I just snapped it, and you see this dotted line here. This dotted line is the fixed cost curve, and here is around hapo ukiangalia is 60,000 here, right? So the cost remains 60,000 regardless of what you produce. There is no variation cost here. That's why it is what? It is a straight line here. And this here, this bordered line here, this is a total cost. Total cost is a summation of fixed cost plus total variable cost. So it is sloping up because there is an increment of what? Cost. The cost increases as you produce more, likely similar for the total variable cost. So let's see. Let's see, when you say total variable cost, these are just the similar computation as we did last time. When you say total average cost, this means you have to take the total cost divided by the quantity, the unit input, factor input. It is the total cost of producing any given output divided by the number of what? Unit produced. And the average fixed cost, this means you have to take the fixed cost divided by what? Divided by Q. Average variable cost. Yeah, let us try to fill this gap together based on that analysis. Wait. Okay. For example, here we said total fixed cost is equal to what? Is equal to fixed cost divided by what? Divided by Q, right? Yeah. So what does it mean? That means you have to take this here will be what? 6,000, right? And here, what is here at level 2? It will be what?
3,000.
At this side, it will be what? 2,000, right? Etc. This is a fixed. What do you realize there? That means fixed cost is what? Decreasing as the output what? Increases. So average fixed cost normally decline when output, when production what? Increases. You can see here, wait, here. You can see here, average fixed cost decline continuously as output increases. But let's see the fixed cost, average fixed cost. Average fixed cost is what? You take variable cost divided by what? Divided by Q. Oh, sorry. Sorry, there is noise here.
Kuanzia saa 3 kamili asubuhi, maandamano ya wafanyakazi yataanza shule msingi Babati kuanzia saa 2:30 asubuhi kuelekea uwanja wa Kona.
Okay. What about variable cost here? At level 1 output, what is the variable cost?
3,000.
Is 3,000, right? Sorry, 3,000. At level 2 is to what?
2,000.
2,000. Level 3?
400.
4,200 divided by 3. You get how much?
1,500.
1,400.
Okay, now let's compute somewhere here, right here. What about here? 26,000 divided by 8. Hapa mepata 1,500.
3,200. 3,200.
3,200.
When output is 8, the answer is 3,250.
Here is 3,000. Here is 3,000.
250.
Hapa ni 2,000. Hapa ni 1,100 ngapi? 1,200 gawanya kwa 3.
1,400.
Okay. Sorry. Alafu 6,000 gawanya kwa 4.
1,500.
1,500. Sawa. Starting from here 9,000 divided by 5. Get how much?
1,800. 1,800.
Yeah. Okay. What does it mean? Okay, let's compute here. 26 divided by 8. 26,000 divided by 8. I need this level here.
3,250. 3,250.
3,250. Kwa maana yake this variable cost is increasing, sawa? Inaongezeka, but the fixed cost is what? Decreasing. You can just compute it. You can see here, here. Average variable cost may rise or fall. Kwa sababu initially tumeona ilipungua baadaye ikaanza kupanda, sawa? So it may rise or it may fall as production what? Increases. That depending on whether the output raises more or decreasing. But the fixed cost always decline as output increases. Kwa hiyo unaweza ukaona hata this graph here is just an illustration kuonyesha namna ambavyo zinacheza. You can sketch it well, showing this is the cost, this is the output. For example, this curve here is for E dotted near fixed what? This is average fixed cost. That means it is sloping, continuously sloping as output what? As output increases, the average fixed cost what? Inakuwa inafanyaje? Inapungua continuously. The more you produce, the less the fixed cost becomes. Sawa. Average cost yenyewe ni hapa, imekuja ikaja ikapanda. It depends on how you, lakini yeah, that's what I'm trying to show. But let's see another thing here basing on that, kwenye hiyo table yetu hapo. What about average total cost? We want to compute here. This is equal to what? Total cost divided by Q, right? That means we are dealing with this column and this column. Just divide. This will be 9,000 here, right? 10,000 divided by that one is what? 5,000. 10,000 divided by 3,000. You just compute until, so it will be increasing if you compute it well. Kwa mfano, if you compute this one at 12 level, 61,000 divided by 12, you get how much?
5,000.
Unapata ngapi? Elfu?
0.3.
5,083.
Your computation, wait just a bit. Oh, you get 5,083. Yeah. Okay, fine. Oh, it can increase or it can raise. Sawa. Just what you have to understand ni namna kuzipata hizo. Sawa. Just how to solve it. What about marginal cost? What about marginal cost?
Change in total cost divided by change in point.
Yeah, exactly. Change in total cost divided by change in what? At this one here must be what? Wait, at first level. Haya, hapa tulianzia moja, manake kulikuwa na 0, right? What is the marginal cost here?
Yeah.
Marginal cost ni sawa sana
9,000.
yeah, FTs, wait. FTs sio inayofuata. Ngoja.
Oh no.
Hapo change in total cost divided by what? Tuanzie hapa, kutoka hapa mpaka hapa ni ngapi? 10,000 mpaka 9,000 mpaka 10,000, you get how much?
1,000.
1,000 gawanya kwa hiyo
1,000.
1,000.
ya itakuwa ni 1,000. Sawa. Ya itakuwa sorry. Itakuwa 1,000. Sawa. Here.
Sorry sir, sorry. Sorry sir, kuna wengine hatuelewi, yani tunasikia moja. Sorry, mtuelezee.
Haujaelewa wapi?
Hiyo pesa mmepataje?
Kisema marginal cost ni sawa sawa na change ya nini? Total cost divided by what? Change in what? In Q. Sawa. Sasa change from here to here. Kutoka 9,000 mpaka 10,000 imechange kwa ngapi? Na kutoka 1 mpaka 2. Here the change is 1, right? Kutoka hapa mpaka hapa si 1,000. Of course hapa is nil. Labda mpaka tungekuwa na kitu juu hapa ndio tungeweza tukacompute hapa. Sawa? You start just compute here at here. what do we need? We just need to see the effect here. From 1 to 2, what is the change there?
1.
Yes.
Karibu.
From 9,000 to 10,000 cost imechange kwa ngapi? Kwa 1,000. Kwa manake, so 1,000 gawanya kwa 1 manake is 1,000. Okay. Ukitaka kupata effect kwenye 3 manake utaangalia from 2 to 3 how much?
1.
1. From 10,000 to 10,000
Pipa liko pale ndani.
hapa itakuwa mia ngapi hapo? 200.
Mpeleke kule.
Umeelewa? Hapo itakuwa 200. Hashim, please, can you mute? Okay, thank you. Okay, at level 4, what is the marginal cost? Manake utaangalia from 3 to 4 is what? What is the change there? Is 1, right?
Yes.
Na change kutoka kwenye 10,000 to level 4, 10,000 to 200 to 12,000. What is the difference?
2,800.
Yeah, kwa maana hiyo it is 2,800, right?
Yeah.
That's kwa hivyo utaendelea na kusolve mpaka ifike.
No, not 2,000.
Ni 1,800.
Sawa. Kikubwa ni kuelewa, sawa? Nadhani hapo tuko pamoja. So what is important here in the short run cost, in the short run the factor input, one factor input does not vary as output what? Does not vary or does not change as output increases. In the short run, kitu cha kunoti hapo, in the short run, sawa, the firm's input, what? The firm's input to production are fixed, while the others can what? Can vary. When you say the one factor, other factor are fixed and the other can vary, manake there should be some investment what? Cost. That's why you call a short run what? A short run cost. Kwa hiyo mara nyingi tunapo consider the short run cost, you have to consider both. One variable, other variables must be what? Fixed. Kwa mfano inaweza ikawa ardhi, it can be capital, those are fixed as we have seen here. Kwa mfano this is a fixed cost. If fixed cost, initially you need to invest, right? Utahitaji kununua ardhi, utahitaji kununua labda vitendea kazi kama capital. That total amount is the fixed what? Is the fixed cost and it does not vary. Kadri unavyozalisha zitabaki kuwa recorded kama hizo sita. If it is 10,000, it will remain as 10,000 regardless of what you produce. That is the short run cost. You understand? But there are also variable what? Variable cost. Variable cost manake you need to employ, sawa. Utaweka wafanyakazi, utanunua raw materials, and this variable cost vary kwa sababu the more you produce, the more the material you need, right? The more cost. The more you produce, the more labor you need, right? That's why there are somewhat variations. But kwa investment cost are the fixed, zenyewe zitabaki kama. That is a short run cost. You get it? Sasa, what about the long run cost? In the long run cost, all factors are assumed to become what? Variables. All factors of production, we assume all factors of production are varying, zinabadilika. Unanielewa? Why do I say these variables, we assume all factors change or vary? Manake we assume there is technology, there are some achievements or technological improvement, right? teknolojia inafanya mambo yabadilike. Kwa hiyo manake the more you produce, even the fixed cost may vary. Sawa, kwa mfano ardhi haiwezi kazalisha ikabaki vile vile. Manake you need to improve the land, you need to be more advanced. Kwa hiyo that investment cost also should what? Ile fixed. What you have to note is that in the long run, all factors are assumed to become what? Variable. That means all costs are variable. I will show you some illustrations so that you can easily understand. Once the optimal combination of inputs is selected, some of these inputs such as plant, equipment, become fixed in the short run. Zinakuwa short, in the short run they are fixed, but in the long run they vary. Thus, the long run cost curve is a planning curve. You can see, we will see the curve later, in the sense that it is guiding the entrepreneur in his decision to plan the future expansion of. Ngoja tuangalie hii hapa. Wait. Let's see this table here. This table has, ngoja, let me draw my own table here. Let me draw my own table. Wait. New slide. This is what? This is output. This is what? Cost. So let's say assume now we have, this is a short run cost. This is a short run cost. So kwa mfano, what can I say? These are levels output. Unaweza kusema 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 etc. 1 2 3 na kuendelea. This is 1 etc na kuendelea. At this point here, we can produce tunaanzia na x axis yetu. We can produce, kwa mfano hapa inaweza ikawa 2 3 4 na kuendelea. Sawa. Assume here at this point here is 1 and what? And 3, right? What does it mean? At this point, call it, this is point A. This is point A. At that point, this is output. Hiyo moja ni output kwa sababu tumechukulia hapa, sawa? Na hiyo 3 is what? Is cost. What does it mean? We can produce one output by 3 unit cost. Sawa? Similarly, at this level, kwa mfano umeendelea, this is the short run cost. Hapa labda ilikuwa 4, 5, 6, 7 na kuendelea. This is B. Let's say this is B. Hapa tunasema labda ni 6, alafu output ni ngapi? Sorry. No, this is 6. Alafu here is what? Is 2. Umeona hiyo point eh? We can produce 6 unit using what? 6 unit kwa sababu 6 iko somewhere hapa, sawa? Nimechukua 6 hapa kwa kutumia cost ngapi? Cost 2. You get it? So when we say these are just short run curve, but when we say long run curve, manake the short run cost curve must be tangent to the long run curve. Hii tunaita ni long run what? Long run cost. Long run cost, we have several points of short run what? Cost. We have variations. Kwa mfano at level 3 here, at point A, we were able to produce 1 unit, sunaona hapo, kwa kutumia cost 3. But when we increased the production, let's say at level 6, hapa, we were able to produce 6 unit kwa kutumia cost ngapi? 2. Sawa. Kwa maana yake we have to join these points. Ukiziunganisha hizi zote utakuja kupata kitu kinaitwa nini? Long run. Long run is represent a variety of points. Points of production based on, wacha tuangalie hapa what I'm trying to say here. The long run is derived from short run curves, from short run cost what? For a long run is the cost in the long run is derived from the short run what? Cost. Each point in the long run corresponds to the what? To the points on the what? On a short run cost, which is tangent to the long run what? It indicates the minimum possible average cost of production for each level of what? Of output. What I was trying to say, unaona hii line hapa. Huu mstari huu, this is a long run curve, but the long run curve has different points ambazo zinajumuisha average production cost kwa kila levels, kwa kila levels. So when you say long run, this is derived from different short run what? Cost curves. So the figure shows that as the firm changes its level of output with the plant appropriate for minimum long run average cost production, it moves along. Kwa hiyo ina maana kuna points nyingi and so on. There are so many points that can join it. In fact, at every point of tangent on the long run curve, there is a short run average cost. There is a short run average what? Cost. Kuna swali mpaka hapa? Is there any question? But what I'm trying to say, what you have to note in this section, when you say short run cost, when you say short run cost, in short, you can say this is what? This involves in the short run, the cost, some of the factor inputs varies, but other factor does not what? Vary. But in the long run, we have different, long run represents what? Is derived from various short run costs. So, long run is what? Is derived from short run cost what? Curves. It indicates different levels of short run costs at different levels of what? Of production. That was just the concept of a short run and a long run. Mpaka hapa huu mfano, I don't know if you understand this one. Yani, okay, let me see. This is output, right? This is output. This is what? This is cost. Now, let's assume this is a long run average. This is a long run average what? Cost. When you say long run average cost, we don't consider, actually we are just see all variable cost does not vary. All cost, all factor input does not what? The more you produce, actually initially when you produce, the cost decline. But there is a point, the more you produce, the more cost what? You incur. Kwa hiyo kuna levels ambazo wanasema this is the optimal what? This is the optimal, this optimal level. This is the optimal level. Kwa hiyo manake, if you want to reach this point here, there are accumulations of cost. Kwa maana hiyo, kuna cost inaweza ikawa hapa, You can produce at this point, you can produce at this point, you can produce at what? At this point. Every point has its own cost. And let's say this is point A, this is point B. This is a short run cost. This is a short run cost 1. This is short run curve 2. This is the short run 3, etc. Yani na kuendelea. Kwa maana the long run curve just join these possible production bundles. Umeelewa? There is variations. Okay? Okay, let's see some examples in this topic. Kwa mfano kuna kitu hapa nimejaribu kukionyesha. We say total cost is equal to what? Kwenye ile computation, total cost is equal to fixed cost plus what?
Cost plus variable cost.
Yeah, plus total variable cost. These calculations are very important. For example, now, what is the total variable cost here? For example, a perfect competitive firm's total variable cost is given as, umepewa hichi kitu, sawa? For example, now given total variable cost, amekupa ngapi hapa? Amekupa 200Q minus what?
9Q.
200Q minus
9Q.
9Q square, right? Plus 0. What?
0.25Q.
Yeah,
Quadra.
plus 0.25 Q cubic, right?
Cubic, yes.
And the firm is incurring some fixed what? Cost that are equal to. Kwa hiyo hapo tayari ametupa nini?
Fixed cost.
Amekupa fixed cost. How much?
50.
150. So what are you required to find? You are required to find one, total cost function, marginal cost, average cost, and the level where, okay, let us do it together. First of all, one, what is total cost function? Total cost function, tumesema ni total fixed cost plus total variable cost, right? Manake, we have to start with what?
Fixed cost.
150. What is the fixed cost? Fixed cost ni 150. What is the total variable cost? Is 200 Q, sawa, minus 9 Q square plus 0.25 Q what? So this is what? That is the total cost function, right? Are we together?
Yes.
Secondly, tumeambiwa tutafute marginal cost, sio? Tunajua marginal cost is equal to what? Change in total cost divided by change in Q. Remember, or unafanya derivative ya total cost function, you differentiate with respect to what? To Q. Kuna formula mbili. If you have given numbers, kama kwenye table pale, it's very easy. But if you have given equation, you have to differentiate in order to get the what? The marginal cost. Hope you are together. What is the total cost? Total cost is maikumbuka. Total cost ni hapa. Manake these questions actually, if you fail to find the total cost, you cannot get the marginal cost. So it is very tricky actually. That's why I normally insist to understand the formulas and understanding what? Equations. When you say total cost, we have to sum up total fixed cost plus total variable cost. We are having total fixed cost kama statement inavyosema. Total fixed cost alikuwa ametuambia ni hii hapa, and the total variable we summed tukapata total cost ambayo tumeshaipata hapa, sawa. But now we have to differentiate that total cost with respect to what? To Q. Ngoja tuiandike ile total cost. Total cost ni 150 plus 200 Q, sorry, minus 9Q square plus 0.25 Q cubic. Sawa? Sasa differentiate this one. If you differentiate this equation, you get how much? We differentiate with respect to what? To Q. If you differentiate a constant number, you get what?
0.
Sawa?
0.
You differentiate with less. Okay, now plus what?
200.
This one.
2
Itakuwa ni 200, sawa?
Ndio.
Tuko pamoja?
Ndio.
200. Why 200? You remember that principle of differentiation? Naikumbuka? Hiyo Q iko power 1, lazima utoe ngapi? Utoe moja, alafu hii moja unaileta huku chini, sawa? Manake 1 minus 1 is what? Is 0. Any number power 0 is 1. 1 times 200 is 200, right? Minus the exponent is here is 2, right? Mbili unaileta hapa. 9 times 2 is what? 18. But here is what? Is Q. Kwa sababu mbili tumetoa moja. Tuko pamoja?
Yes.
Plus there is a 3 here, you see here, right? So 3 times 0.25 is 0.75. Alafu Q 3 square kwa sababu ile 3 tumetoa moja. So the marginal cost is what? Hiyo zero unaweza kaignore tu. So 200 minus 18Q plus what? 0.0 Q square, right? So that is the marginal cost. Ambayo ndio hii hapo, sawa? What is the average cost?
Average variable cost. Variable cost over Q.
Sawa. What is average variable cost? Manake utachukua total variable cost divided by what?
By Q.
Lakini you remember what is the total variable cost? See hapa. Sawa?
Ndio.
But total variable cost ni 200 Q, sio? Minus 9 Q square plus
0.725.
Not 0.7. That 0.7 was marginal cost.
Okay.
Don't confuse. The total cost is this one. The total variable cost is this one. Sawa? Tuko pamoja?
Yes.
Kwa maana yake sasa, what is average cost here? You have to take that total variable cost given, right? Ambayo ni 9Q square plus 0.25Q cubic. You divide by what?
By Q.
That means you will get average cost. Ukigawanya kwa QQ itakwenda. Ukigawanya kwa QQ it will be 9 what? Q, right? Ukiplus hapa itakuwa ni 0.25 Q what? Square kwa sababu ile Q moja imekwenda. Sawa? Are we together?
Yes.
Yes.
What next? We are supposed to find the level of output where average variable cost and the marginal cost shall be the same. That means we are looking the condition where average variable cost is equal to marginal what? Cost. That was number 4, right? So the point where average variable cost is equal to marginal cost. Now you are having what? Marginal average variable cost tumeshai compute. Is this one, right?
Yes.
What is the average variable cost? is
200
over Q.
minus 90
200 minus 9Q plus 0.25
0.25 what?
Q square.
Is equal to, what is the marginal cost?
200 minus 18Q
Now, is equal to 200
minus
minus
18
18 what?
Q
Q plus 0.75 Q square. Put in like terms. Put in like terms, numbers should be numbers. Kwa mfano hapa there is plus plus. It will be 200 minus what? 200. Sitakufa hiyo. Hii 200 ukileta huku 200. So almost, let me do this first.
Ishakufa.
Yeah, ngoja. I just wanted to simplify. Wait.
sorry.
Yeah.
Hapo kwenye average variable cost it was the hiyo tulioandika divide by Q, so I think hiyo 200 is over Q.
Wait, okay, let's see what was the total variable cost? This one, you see?
Was 200Q. So
yeah,
divided by
manake
Q.
if you divide by Q, itabaki 200.
Q
Yes.
Sasa manake this positive, huku si upande huku na this should be cancelled, right? Because it is positive. We just want to put in like terms.
Sawa.
Minus
Yes.
QQ, hapa kuna minus. Kwa hiyo itakuwa minus 9Q plus 18 what?
18Q
Q is equal to
0.75 Q square.
Q square. Hii ilikuwa ni plus au minus?
Plus.
Yeah, 18 ni plus, 18 minus.
Plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sawa, ni sawa.
No, 18 is minus.
18 is minus.
Zote ni minus. Ila moja iko
Yeah, minus
moja
manake ukileta kunakuwa
18
plus.
You are right.
Yes.
You are right,
Yes.
sir. You are right.
You are right.
Okay, minus 0. What? I just, yeah, 2 square.
Yes.
Naziweka pamoja ili tuweze kusolve. So this one should be what? 9Q, right?
Yes.
Is equal to, if you subtract here, to be 0.5, right? Q
Square.
square. Divided by Q both sides.
Divide by Q or yeah. Q.
Yeah, by Q, right? Ngoja niongeze slide hapa. Hapo tumepata 9Q. Let me use the, ngoja nitumie 9Q tumepata is equal to 0.what?
5Q square.
Hapa itabaki 9 is equal to 0.what?
5Q.
So divide by 0.5 both sides.
Yeah. 18.
Manake this will be cancelled. Q itakuwa ni ngapi?
18.
Unapata 18?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the level of output that maximize what? Hiyo ndo alikuwa anasema what level of output where marginal. So the level of output where average variable cost and the marginal cost is the same, that level is what?
18.
Q must be 18. Lakini mimi nimepata 9. How? To check up. Let us see together here. This is a total cost. See hapa.
Yes.
The marginal cost, this one, right? As we did, right? The average cost, this one. Oh, I see.
Hapo umeweka negative kwenye marginal.
Hapa niliweka yeah, it should be plus here.
Yeah.
Kwa hiyo Q nitairekebisha. Q lazima iwe ngapi? 18. Sawa. Nitaicompute vizuri. That's how it is. And these are some seminar questions, the same questions. For example, this kind of enterprise is limited. Is a firm that is specializing. You do it by yourself, right? and this can be kind of individual, sawa. But at the end of the day tutaona tunafanyaje, but the same thing. What is the fixed cost? Anakuambia this kind of enterprises is located in Njombe. Na anakuambia fixed costs were how much? Ilikuwa ni milioni 100,000 per month. The data for afu akakupa total variable cost. Then what is required here? You are required to find the total cost, average variable cost, and the marginal cost. I think this is very straight. So, yeah. So, having known that those concepts of production na cost theory, ngoja tuangalie how do we get the profit now? Kwa sababu we have seen the maximum level of output, tumeona kule kwenye production, tumeona mambo ya kutafuta output, level ya output ambazo zina maximize, zinapunguza gharama. But we have not yet seen the what? How to compute the what? The profit. Tunajua kwamba profit is equal to what? Wanaandikaga profit kama pi. Profit function au wanaandika pi is equal to what?
Total revenue minus total cost.
Yeah, total revenue au total product, whatever you if you are dealing with money, whatever you can adjust total product, sawa? Au tuseme total revenue, kwa sababu that revenue should be, yale mapato lazima uya convert kwenye pesa. You get it?
Yes.
Minus what? Total cost. So the formula, profit is equal to total revenue minus what? Total cost. Just bear in your mind. But the condition that maximize the profit always, tunasema marginal revenue must be equal to marginal what?
Cost.
This is the point where you are maximizing what?
Profit.
You are maximizing profit. Sawa? Always, let's see, the actually producers are always aiming to maximize what? Profit. They wanted to produce more but less cost. That's why we are having this kind of competitions. Ili uone wapi ambapo na you are making the profit. Let's see this table here. Initially, if you are not producing, that means you are not getting revenue. You don't sell. Sawa? But you have some investment cost. Lazima gharama za uanzishaji kama ni kamradi, you have invested a lot. So the cost, investment cost can be any amount. This is just an example. This is sales for what? Ice cream bar venture. Kwa manake profit here is what? Total revenue minus what? Total cost, in order to get this cost. Kwa manake this is total revenue, and this here is what? Total cost. Kwa manake 0 minus 40 is what? There is a loss. So if you produce, let's say 10,000 units, that means you have started to employ watu na nini. So expect some revenue. Let's say revenue yako ni, mapato yako yamekuwa ni milioni ngapi? After producing, then you sell them, you get 15,000. But the cost is still increasing. Unaona imetoka 40,000 because you have, this was an investment, lakini kuna additional cost. You remember, the more you produce, the more the cost. Kwa manake kadri unavyozidi kuzalisha, cost zafanyaje? Zinaongezeka. Mpaka ulipofika 90 umeweza kuzalisha 58,000, right? But the thing here, you have to find the difference. Kama uone unatengeneza faida or you are making what? The loss. So let's say here 30,000 minus 46 negative. So this minus this one negative. But what you note here is that as you increase what? Production, the gap between the total cost and the total revenue decline. Yani ile gap kati ya faida na hasara inakaribiana. You get it? Kwa maana yake loss inakuwa inafanyaje? Inapungua. But there is a point where total revenue inakuwa sawa na nini? When you start making profit, that is the break-even point. Kwa hiyo itakuwa somewhere. So unaona hapa kuna this minus this one is minus 4. Thereafter 60 minus 56 is 8. Now you are starting getting what? Profit. Lakini kabla hujafika kwenye 8 kuna ka point hapa lazima tuwe tumefanyaje? Kuna break even. So there is a point where there is the interaction between the total revenue and the total cost. So let's see the same thing when we are dealing with cost analysis. Tuliona how to compute total cost. Now we are here how to compute average revenue. Is the same. You take the total revenue divided by what? By Q. Average revenue, this is the total revenue divided by the number of what? Au manake, unaposema total revenue, manake ni nini? Manake you have to take the quantity times what? The price of input. You get it? Quantity.
Naam.
For example, Macpherson. Bando. Can you mute? Okay. Total revenue, mapato mara nyingi tunachukua kiasi unachozalisha unagawanya kwa bei unayofanyaje? This is very clear. You get it? Okay?
Sorry, ni quantity kugawanya au quantity kuzidisha selling price?
What? I'm just saying about total revenue. Total revenue manake ni sawa sawa na kuchukua, ngoja wait. Ngoja nianzie hapa. Tumesema average revenue is equal to what? Total revenue divided by what? Are we together?
Quantity.
Yes.
But what is total revenue? What is total revenue?
Total revenue.
Output.
Yeah.
Output
Total revenue, you have to take
selling price
output times what?
Price.
Input.
Yeah.
Manake kama umezalisha labda gunia 10, lazima uzidishe kwa bei ya kila gunia. Kama let's say gunia ni let's say labda linauzwa 1,000,000 au 100,000. You get the total revenue. Sawa?
Yeah.
This is clear. Sawa? So ngoja nataka nifute. What I'm trying to do here, having simeshaelewa total revenue is equal to Q times Q. So average revenue is equal to
Total revenue
divided by Q, ambao ni sawa sana kuchukua P times what?
Q.
Divided by what?
Q.
So sometimes average revenue is equal to what? Is equal to
P.
Is equal to price and a perfectly competitive market.
Yes.
Manake ile Q imekwenda. Tuko pamoja?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what actually I was trying to show this one. Ile average revenue, sometimes you have to take PQ divided by what? Yeah. So obviously average revenue is what? Is the price of commodity. That was the meaning of that interpretation. So now what is the marginal revenue? The same. Kama kule tulivyokuwa tuna compute. Marginal revenue is equal to change in what?
Revenue.
Total revenue divided by change in what? Quantity. Or you have to differentiate total revenue. Kama umepewa equation, you differentiate by what? By Q. So sometimes you may be given equations, sometimes you may be given numbers like that table we are trying to compute. So if you are given the table, hapa unaweza ukacompute. Kwa mfano basing on that table above, the table we were discussing before. You remember? Tuliambiwa initially, actually we have no revenue. Nataka nione how do we get the marginal revenue? Sawa.
Bosi,
Vipi?
wapi za kwako?
Nzuri kwema.
CRB ni nani?
Hapa nikuombe hela jamani.
Naambie.
ina shida na kama 25,000 hivi.
Ase, mnaweza mkampigia
Pia
huyo.
utaenda kanunue dawa pale tuongeze dawa za watoto.
CRB, who is that?
CRDB.
Ndio tunatoka. Mambo yamekuwa mengi, sijafika nyumbani. Sasa nimemwambia
Anamfahamu huyo nani?
apite pale via ni akaangalia hizo dawa.
Mbona kutumia wewe?
Nitumie mimi ili akifika pale ndo nilipe kwa nani kwa lipa namba.
Angetolewa tu, angetolewa.
CRB, aliyejisave CRB. Please mute your computer, please, your device. Okay. What is revenue? Ile revenue tunakumbuka hapa. We have different levels. Tuna hii 15,000 mapato. This is total revenue, right? Tuna 30, 45, 60, etc. up to 90,000, right? So what is, for example, what is the marginal revenue here? Marginal revenue you have to change from here to here. Kutoka 0 mpaka 15,000 ni ngapi? Manake utachukua is minus what? Minus 15 divided by from 0 to 10,000. Manake utagawanya kwa hasi ngapi? 10,000. It will be 1.5. Similarly, if you want to find the marginal revenue here, you have to find the difference from here to here. 10,000 to here 10,000, sawa? Kutoka hapa mpaka hapa 15,000. Manake you have to take what?
15,000 gani kwa 10,000?
Sasa hapa nashangaa. Okay, nilikuwa naangalia average revenue. So here, right? Here, right? Na kuendelea. Can you compute here, please? What do you get? What is the marginal revenue here?
Where, sir?
I need the here, this level here. When you produce 30,000, what is the marginal revenue?
1.5.
Okay, you get
1.5.
1.5. Okay, 1.5. 1 point what? Oh my God. 1.5. Na hapa unapata 1.5, eh?
Yes.
I think it's 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Kwa ni kote, sawa?
Ndio.
Average revenue, you just take total revenue divided by what? By Q. I think this is very straight. But I was trying to show what is the break-even point. As I've explained, this is a point where you start generating what? Profit. It's a place where the revenue interact or meet with the total cost curve. Okay? This is a zone. It is what? It is a zone. There is a zone in lower volumes, or I don't. I'm trying to. Generally, a break-even point is a level of output where producers start making what? That level where total revenue is equal to what? Total cost. The level where producer or firms starts generating what? Profit. Kwa mfano, you can sketch it well. You see this curve here? You see this one, eh? You can produce at Q1, Q3, Q4, etc., right? But there is this curve here. Hii curve inaonyesha both cost and revenue. Sawa? Huu mstari hapa unaonyesha total what? Total revenue. And this one represent what? Total cost. Initially, at this stage here, mwanzoni kabisa, when you are starting producing, this is like a short run. Sawa? Manake, total revenue is less than what? Total cost curve. Unaona hii revenue iko chini ya nini? Sawa? But as you increase production, the gap between the total revenue and the total cost decline. You see? Yani gap ya hapa na hapa, the gap from here to here is huge. Gap ya hapa na hapa inaenda inapungua, sawa? inaenda inapungua, inapungua mpaka inafikia mahali the total revenue inakuwa ni sawa na total what? Total cost. You get it? Kama you remember when we were trying to compute this curve here. Sawa? Where? Nimerudi nyuma sana. I think you understand the concept. Sawa? Kwa marginal, the more you produce, the more here tulikuwa tunafanyia wapi relatable yetu. Si hapa Tunakumbuka tulikuwa tunatoa zile curve. When you are producing, when you increase production, tunaona loss inapungua. Sawa? Loss inafanyaje? Inapungua. Hapa ilikuwa 40,000, 28,000, 16,000. The more you produce, the less the gap between total revenue and the total cost decline. Or the more you produce, the less the more you produce, the more profit. The more profit, the gap between the total cost and the total revenue decline. There is a point where marginal revenue so this point here where the firms or producers start generating profit, we call it what? This is a break-even point. Kwa sababu before the total revenue was below the total cost curve, but thereafter, after this point, the total revenue cost is above the total cost curve. Lakini there is a point also, as a producer of firm, you need to be very careful. You have to maintain this point because this point is profit. You are making what? Profit. Hapa ni but loss, lakini hapa inapungua. But there is a point. There is a break-even point also. Manake cost itakuwa juu tena, revenue inakuja nini? Chini. Zitakwenda, there is a point tena unashangaa zimefanyaje? So it's a point where a firm or producer start making what? Making profit. That's a break-even point. Now let's see some computation. How do we maximize profit? Condition nimeshasema. Condition to maximize profit. Condition inasema we are maximizing profit where the marginal revenue is equal to what? Is equal to marginal cost. Let's see an example. Kwa mfano, let's see an example here. Suppose anakwambia the total cost function. Suppose total cost function amekupa ngapi? Total cost is equal to Q. Sawa? Hiyo ni total cost. Sio lazima iwe, you remember that cost function ilikuwa una namba na nini. You can be given any number. But let's see this example. And total revenue umepewa total cost hapa, sawa? Alafu nakwambia suppose the total cost function is this one. The demand for FM production is given by what? Amekwambia demand ya mauzo yake P is what? 25 minus
3Q.
25 minus 3 what? This is a demand function of the firm. This is a cost and this is a demand function of the firm. Anakwambia compute its optimal production level and the profit. The question is find what? Optimal level, tunaangalia level ambayo ina maximize profit. Alafu tumeambiwa tutafute hiyo, alafu tumeambiwa tutafute nini? Tutafute profit. What should we do? How can we do that? Before doing anything, you have to know the condition. Condition inasema marginal revenue is equal to what?
Marginal cost.
Sasa sisi tuna total what? Total cost amekupa nini? Q. Of course, if you have total cost, it's easy to get the marginal cost. Kwa sababu marginal cost is equal to you differentiate total cost with respect to what? To Q. Sasa ukidifferentiate unapata ngapi? What do you get if you differentiate total cost? You get what?
1.
1, right? Yeah, good. Kwa nini umepata 1? Kwa sababu this is 1 above, right? Utatoa 1 itakuwa 0. 1, any number power 0 is 1. Sawa, hapa kuna 1. So manake it will be 1, right? The thing here, how do you get the marginal cost ili tuweze kupata hiyo condition? Marginal cost ni sawa sana ku differentiate total revenue divided by what? By Q. Lakini we don't have what? Hatuna total revenue. What is total revenue? P, you remember, amekupa ngapi? 25 minus what?
3Q.
Sasa, what is the total revenue? Formula inasemaje ya total revenue?
Price times quantity.
P times what?
Times Q.
Sasa, what is P?
25 minus 3Q.
Yeah, so instead of writing P, you write Q. Is that number, right?
Yes.
Times what? Times Q. Manake you have 25 Q minus 3Q square. This is what? This is total revenue. Are we together?
Yes.
So now, having the total revenue, it's easy now to get the marginal revenue. So, marginal revenue differentiate total revenue divided by what? What a differentiate here hapa. Here hapa.
Derivative of total revenue.
Yeah.
5 minus 6Q.
Ngoja tuiandike hapa. Total revenue tumepata ngapi? Tumepata 25Q.
25Q minus
3Q square.
Minus 3Q square. Sawa. Sasa marginal revenue hapa ukidifferentiate you get how much? You get
25 minus
6Q.
Yes.
Tuko pamoja?
Yes.
Sawa. Condition inasemaje hapa?
Marginal revenue.
Marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Sasa marginal revenue tumeshaipata ni 25. Itoa 6Q. Ziko to marginal cost. Marginal cost ilikuwa ngapi? 1. So 1, okay. Hii itakuwa minus 6Q is equal to 1 minus what? Kwa itakuwa ni 6Q ni sawa sawa na ngapi? 24. Negative zimekwisha. So Q is equal to what?
8.
Sorry. Is equal to 4. So what is 4? 4 is the level of output that maximize what? Profit. So 4 is the, kwa hiyo manake ili uweze kupata faida lazima uzalishe 4 unit of what? Of output. Sawa. Kwa hiyo utakuwa umejibu swali la kwanza. But what is profit?
Total revenue minus total cost.
Profit is equal to total revenue minus
total cost.
Kwa hiyo what is total revenue? Tulijua kwamba but total revenue, ile formula total revenue ilikuwa wapi?
Price times quantity equal to price.
Yeah.
24Q.
Yeah. I don't see it.
Ilikuwa ni 25Q minus
total revenue is equal to 25Q minus what?
3Q squared.
25Q minus 3Q what?
Squared.
Lakini Q tumeshaijua ni ngapi?
4.
Just substitute it to get total revenue. So it will be 25
times 4
minus what? 3 times 4 square, right? Unapata ngapi total revenue?
100
kutoa 48.
100 ukitoa 48. You get
No.
So So total revenue is what? 52. What about total cost? Total cost alituambia is Q. Is equal to Q, right?
The Q is 4.
Yeah. Kwa maana hiyo total cost is equal to what? To 4. Now what is profit?
52
Profit
minus
is 52 minus what? So
Yes.
profit is what? 48. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes.
That is great. Kwa hiyo profit ni hapa, sawa? I was just very brief, but I'll share you this slide. Sawa?
Okay.
Kuona nimecompute vipi hapa. These are some questions. Kwa mfano hapa, you have given total cost. You have given what? Total revenue. Now determine the, anaposema profit maximizing output, anataka aone output ambayo, manake you are supposed to find what? Q. The output that maximize what?
Profit
Profit.
maximizing.
And here you are supposed to find what? Profit. Establish profit. Establish the firm's profit. Yeah, kwa hapo just compute the profit. Sawa? Yeah. Okay, now kuna maswali hapo mtaangalia hapo. Sawa? Actually, this is all about cost. Cost theory is very short. Let me share this slide. Alafu, I would like to go back to slide 2 because the last session we had internet challenge. Sawa? Nitajaribu kuwapitisha kidogo kwenye ile slide 2 ili tuweze kuwa pamoja. Sawa? Let me save it. Let me share. Just want to share this slide before we proceed.
Mimi nishaanzisha. After checking na Sheikh Said.
Hello. We may have a break, like 5-10 minutes. During break, I will share you this slide, and then we'll come back to proceed.
Okay, doctor.
I want to share this slide first, and then if you come back, we'll proceed with the slide 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thomas, zima mic Thomas.
Yes.
Yes, you can proceed, Doctor.
Yeah.
I remember about that.
I just want to review. I just want to review the previous slide, slide 2, because the internet was not so much good last time when we were discussing this topic, especially on the issue of demand analysis. But I'll be very brief. Okay. About this, actually about supply, we did, and I'm sure you are aware about. Let's just focus on the demand. When you say demand, I said last time, actually, when you say demand and the supply analysis, we are focusing on two things. We are focusing on demand side, and then we are focusing on supply side. When you say demand side, we just want to see how does the quantity demand affected by supply, by price, if you hold the other factors constant. And there are other variables that can affect what? Demand. Actually, price is the key factor that affects what? Demand. And we'll see here the issue of the diminishing marginal. We see the issue of diminishing marginal return. We are going to compute some issues of elasticity of demand and other things. But when you say demand, what is the demand? What is demand? Actually, by definition, when you say demand, this is the quantity of goods or service that people are willing to buy, are willing and ability to buy or to purchase at different price levels. Why do we say a willing and ability? You may be willing, but you are not able to buy, right? So when you are defining, you have to. Do you see the slide? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, I will see it.
Yeah. So when you say demand, we just consider the amount of goods that a person can purchase that a person can be able and willing to purchase at different price levels at a given time. Okay? But under ceteris paribus, assume all other factors remain what? Constant. So, the price is the key determinant of what? The price is the key determinant of consumer purchasing power. When we say under ceteris paribus, we just assume that only price can affect what? Demand, right? For example, just have a look of this. If you say only other factors affect demand, for example, you are having that equation, quantity demand is equal to what? 6 minus what? Oh, sorry. 6 minus what? Minus P. This is just an example. Minus P what? X. Yeah, now at different price, you can be able to purchase different goods at different price what? Levels. For example, if P is 6, what is demand? That means it will be 6 minus what? 6, right? You get 0. So if price is 5, what does it mean? It will be 6 minus what? 5. You get 1. And if P is 0, that means it be 6 minus what? 0. You get 6. Ambayo ndo hii hapo. Sawa. Kwa hiyo we are just looking what we noted here. The higher the price, according to the law of demand, the higher the price, the lower the price, the higher the what? The demand. And the opposite is true. The lower the price, yeah, the higher the price, the lower the demand. And the lower the price,
The price, the
huh?
higher the demand.
Yeah,
The higher the demand.
Under ceteris paribus, right?
Yes.
Kwa hiyo that's how it is. And you can just sketch it. That means there is a negative relationship between what? Price and the demand curve normally slope from where? Sloping down from left to right. For example, here, the demand curve, like this is quantity, this is what? Price. It is sloping from left to right, downward from left to right. For example, we may have different levels. Let's say here, there is a bundle here. This is B, right? Oh no, sorry. At this point here, the price, let's say, is 5. Here is 2.5. Hapa quantity labda tuseme ni 10. Hapa labda ni 12, whatever. So, bundle, at this point, the higher the price, actually, the higher the price, the lower the quantity. So, but if you decrease the price, you expect increase in what? In demand. And the opposite is true. The lower the price, the higher the quantity. And the higher the price, hiyo ndio ilikuwa inaonyesha hiyo. So, the law of demand states that, as said, the lower the price, the greater the quantity demand at a given point. That's how. And as it is what? Paribus. But if you don't hold the other factors remain constant, there are other factors that can affect what? Demand. Tuliziona. Some of them is what? If you hold other factors remain constant, that means price can affect what? Demand. But if you don't hold the other factors remain constant, there are other factors that can affect what? Demand. For example, the price of other what? the price of other commodities for substitute goods or for your competitor. Kwa mfano, if you let's say if there are two sellers, one seller is selling the same commodity, let's say is selling selling cola. Sawa? No. Labda tuseme rice. Huyu labda fem 1 anauza rice kwa kilo ngapi? Labda kwa kg anauza 2000. Sawa? Alafu fem 2 the seller 2 is selling the rice labda anauza kwa 2000 ngapi? 200 kwa kilo. This is actually the price of other competitor can affect the demand. Means that most of the sellers will prefer buying their commodity or rice to firm 1. So because the price is what? Is low. Kwa demand ya rice kwa seller 1 itakuwa ni kubwa kuliko kwa seller 2. So the price changed by competitor. If the price changed by the competitor is low, the demand for that competitor will increase, and the vice versa. You understand? Like for fashions and taste, if there is a new fashion or taste, people will prefer to buy it, right? The new fashion is more preferred regardless of what? Of the price. Kwa mfano t-shirt ni wapa mfano, let's say or polo, something like that.
Msukule, please.
Okay, for the taste and the preference, people are more preferred to purchase the new brand, right? Regardless of what? Of the price. If you don't hold other factors, remain constant. Other factor that can affect demand rather than price, we said what? Income. Income, the higher the income, it depends. But in case of income, we have normal goods, luxury, or just inferior goods. If for normal goods, this is very important. When we talk about income, we talk about normal goods, so, or inferior goods. For normal goods, means income increases. So, for inferior, tulisema ni nini? For inferior goods, tulisema income ikifanyaje? Ikipungua. If income increases, people will prefer to buy these goods. So, and the opposite is what? Is true. I gave you an example. To me, fish is normal good. Because let's say my income, just an example, previously my income was low. I preferred much to eat daga because daga is inferior to me, right? After having, let's say, an increment or something like that, getting money, I prefer now the demand for normal goods increases. I prefer to purchase, instead of eating, let's say, fish once a week, I eat now 3 times. That means the demand for normal goods increases, while the demand for inferior good what? Decrease. Other factor is consumer what? Expectation. You remember I gave you an example. You had a plan now to buy, you have a plan to buy laptop. Kwa mfano, sawa. I want to buy what? A laptop amounting to ambayo haizidi milioni ngapi? Uona tayari you have 1 million. You want to buy laptop, let's say Samsung. Au unataka uchukue laptop inaitwa Dell. Sawa? Unataka upate laptop Dell ya milioni 1. You want to buy it this month. If you hear that next month or 2 months is to come, the price of laptop will increase. Itaongezeka labda mpaka ifike milioni 1.5. My question is, will you wait until the price increases for laptop? No, right? You will buy now the laptop in order to avoid the higher price of it when it reaches that 2 months. Kwa hiyo maana yake hapa demand for laptop for this month will increase. Sawa? Na hii ya mwezi wa ngapi itapungua? Likely for rice or anything. So changes in consumer expectation can also change the position of what? Of the demand. I will show the curve, how does it shift. Population, the higher the population, the higher the demand. The lower the population, the lower the demand. For example, for a society that with more children, that means the demand for demand for children will what? Increase. Vitu kama tricycles or daycare facilities will increase because there are so many children. So advertisements also, if you
Doctor.
Naam.
Sorry, can you repeat on point number 5, population, please? Sorry.
Population, yeah. Population, I'm talking about the number of people, okay? The number of people can affect the demand in a positive way or in the negative way, okay? For example, if, for instance, if the number of children is more, that means the demand for the commodity or the demand of facilities for children will increase because there are so many children in that particular area. Sawa? Umeelewa? Kwa mfano watoto wakizaliwa sana sasa hivi, maana yake mahitaji ya watoto yatakuwa ni mengi. Watoto wasipozaliwa, facilities for children will what? It will decline. I'm just saying, how does this affect what? Demand. You understand? Eh?
Yes, Doctor.
If there are so many elders in that particular place, the demand for particular, the demand for what? The facilities for elders will increase. The demand for those facilities will increase. For elders will increase, right? And the opposite is true. Likely for advertisement. If the commodity or a particular commodity is more advertised, expect its demand to increase. If someone is convincing you to purchase a particular commodity, you have to buy it, right? The more you advertise, the more you encourage more customers. You get it? Those are the factors that can affect the demand. If you don't advertise, do not expect what? Do not expect demand for your commodity. Advertisement often provide consumers with information about the existence or quality of the product, right? If you are having enough information or the information about the quality of that product, you are attracting more customers to purchase that product. So kwa maana hiyo, it's not only price that can affect demand. There are so many factors. The price of related goods. When you say price of related goods, we talk about substitute what? We talk about substitute goods. So unaongelea about substitute goods. Kwa mfano, ukiongelea kwa mfano Pepsi and the cola. These are related goods, right? Au coffee and the tea. Any change in the price of one will affect the price of what? Of the other. For example, if the price of coffee increases, expect the demand for tea to increase or to decrease. That is the question.
To increase.
Yes.
Yeah, to increase. If the price of Coca-Cola increases, expect the demand for Pepsi to
Increase.
Yeah. We are going to see the formula, the model that illustrates this one. Other goods are what? Other goods are complements for each other. They are depending each other. For example, the right shoes and the left shoes. If you buy the right shoes, you have to buy the left shoes as well. The demand for, if the demand for pen increases, even the demand for what? Notebook will also increase. You cannot just buy pen without buying what? Written document. Sawa, kama hizo notebook, labda daftari. They have to be used what? They are used what? Jointly. Sawa. Notebook, for example, notebook and a pen. Okay, let's proceed. Sasa, this was the curve ambayo inaonyesha how does this shift. when it shifts, this the black line, the black curve here, mstari tunaona huu. This curve represents that only price can affect what? Only price can affect what? Demand. And the settle is what? Peribus. Manake at the point here, if the price increases, at this point the price is high, you can be able to purchase at a particular point here somewhere, right? If price decreases, manake utaongeza nini?
Demand.
Utaongeza demand, sawa? Paka B. That is, and the settle is what?
Peribus.
Assume all other factors remain constant. But if you don't hold these factors, manake you allow other factors to affect your demand. What does it mean? It means that the curve will shift from the original, whether it can shift to the left or to the right. When it shifts to the right side, that means there is a positive shift. Okay? When it shifts to the left side, that means there is a negative what? That means there is a decreasing demand. Here there is increasing what? Demand. For normal goods, as I said last time, for normal goods, that means there is an increase of what? Income. Manake itakuwa on the right side. Sawa. Here it will be inferior. Kwa upande huu itakuwa ni nini? Inferior. Manake income imefanyaje? Huku ni inferior. Manake imeshifti. Yeah. Lakini, for example, we have spoken about the expectation of the future price. Expectation of the future price as a consumer, if you expect the price of, let's say, the intended commodity you want to buy is going to increase, you have the demand will increase now, right?
Yes.
Manake itashifti, demand itakuwa right side, sio? And if you expect the price of the intended commodity is going to decrease in the near future, that means the demand will shift it left side because the people will not purchase it now, waiting for a good price. You understand?
Yeah.
Manake itakuwa upande wangapi? Wa pili. You get it? And so on. Kuna vitu vingi hapo unaweza for substitute good or the price of related goods as another factor affecting demand. If for instance the price of Pepsi increases, manake tunategemea mauzo ya nini? Ya cola yafanyeje? Yaongezeke. Kwa hiyo cola will be on the right side. Kwa sababu Pepsi bei yake simepanda, manake tutegemea mauzo ya cola yawe right side and mauzo ya Pepsi yawe
left.
Yeah, left side. You get it? Are we together?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
Yes, doctor.
This was the kind of illustration. Manake sasa we are just dealing with what? Signs. We are just dealing with signs. These are just coefficients. You don't need even to be scared. Hii tunaangalia the magnitude of effect. Sana tunaangalia is what? Signs. That means the quantity of demand can be affected by price itself. If you hold the other factors remain constant, it can be affected by the price of the competitor. So, manake, this is the price of exactly commodity. Kwa mfano, if this is Coca-Cola, this is the price of what? Of a Coca-Cola. This is the price of what? Other competitor, ambao ni Y. Si ndo manake?
Yeah.
Sasa mimi naweza nikakuuliza, if the price of PY increases, what do you expect for the quantity of X? Manake itaongezeka, si ndo manake?
Yes, demand will increase.
Yeah. Na and so on. This M represent income, this H ile H nafikiri may define somewhere, but it's other factors, can be any. So we had some calculations. Nadhani pale ndo tulipishana kidogo kwa sababu ya mtandao. But you have given this equation here. This equation, this is the demand equation. Demand equation inakuwa affected by the price itself, is affected by what? Advertisement, kama zile ambavyo kwa tunazielezea. Is affected by competitor price. CP is the price of other what? Competitor. Ningeweza nikaandika hata PY hapa. Sawa? And the I is what? Income. Disposal. So demand is affected by so many factors. For example, now let's see. Suppose the price is what? 30. Advertisement, the price of other competitor. This is the disposable income price. What is the demand? What does it mean? You just substitute P. So nakumbuka, just substitute those values in order to know the number of subscribers. Manake utapata idadi ya, you get what? You get 40. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes,
Back to your question, doctor.
The question is, you are given this was just analysis. Managers estimated the data and they got this equation. Kwamba demand yeye kutokana na analysis yake, anasema inakuwa affected by price itself, advertisement, price of other competitor, sawa, na income. Sasa, if you are having these values, amekupa P, amekupa advertisement, amekupa price of other competitor, amekupa income. Now you are supposed to find the demand. It is easy to get it, right?
Yes, doctor.
Because you just substitute these values, you get the demand or number of subscribers or the demand, the level of demand, ambayo inakuwa ni kama 40. If you substitute those values, you get 40, right? Are we together?
Yes.
Kipatika
Yes,
okay, let's proceed. Now suppose okay, suppose now, hello? Sasa, now we just want to get the demand equation. Hawa ameanza kuongea. Who is that? Wait. Kitenge, Salum Kitenge.
Kitenge.
Can you mute?
And Hashim Peter.
Okay. Sasa this tunataka tuone kwa sababu this is the demand equation. Lakini demand equation ina factors nyingi. Imekuwa affected by advertisement, imekuwa affected by consumer price, price of other competitor, and imekuwa affected by what? By income. Now, substituting those values just here, just hold the constant. Hii usidisturb. I just want to get a demand equation. Manake ni nini? I just want to know the effect of demand, right? I have to take this 25,800 sawa minus 800 nini? P.
Right.
Are we together?
Yes.
Plus, nataka niangalie hizi effect zingine. Just keep this one constant, fixed. Substitute ile price. Hii ilikuwa 30, just leave it. I just want to see if I substitute others. Kwa mfano hapa, ilikuwa ni 4 mara ngapi? What was the advertisement cost? Ilikuwa ni 5,000, si ndo manake? Ilikuwa ni 5,000, right?
Yes.
5,000. Okay. Plus what? 200 plus the price of other competitor. What was the price of other competitor?
25.
Ilikuwa ni 25, si ndo manake?
Yes.
It was 25 times 25 plus 0.4 times what?
33,000.
33,000.
Yeah, times 33,000. Mimi hapa nataka tu times 33,000. Sawa? I just want to see the effect of this one. Naomba mzidishi hapa tunapata ngapi? Hizi tu za ndani. What do you get? If you are having a calculator please. Kwa manake quantity demand itakuwa ni 25,800 minus 800 P. What do you get here? Hapa ilikuwa ni plus ete. Namba mzidishe hizo kwenye mabano hizi. Mnapata ngapi? Oya. 4 times 4,000 plus 200 times what? 25.
Osi.
Yes. Times 33,000. You get how much? 38. Is it okay? 38,200.
Yes, doctor.
Is it okay? Okay. Now plus 25,800. Unapata elfu ngapi? Unapata 64,000, 68,000 I think. Minus 80, 100. What? This is a demand equation. Sawa? Manake, if you introduce these factors, if you hold this one fixed, how can I say? If you don't hold the other factors, it remain constant. Manake, if you allow other factors affecting the demand equation, effect yake itakuwa ni the demand equation will be, are we together? Manake hapa tumeangalia other factors, lakini price yenyewe tumeiacha kama constant. Are we together?
Yes.
Manake that's what I was trying to explain it. If you substitute these values into the demand function and aggregate a constant term, the demand function becomes what? This one. Manake tumesha incorporate other factors. We have incorporated the other factors. You get it? These demand equations, you can just live with, lakini pia you can make it P the subject, but it's okay. You can just end up here. Having this demand equation is okay. Okay? Sasa, suppose now 25 was the price of other competitor. You remember? This was the CP. Si mnakumbuka? Suppose your competitor ameongeza bei. From 25 ameongeza bei mpaka kwenda ngapi? 35. Now what should you do? Ile equation yetu tunaikumbuka. Ilikuwa ni 25. Ilikuwa 25,800. I don't know if I'm okay. It was okay now. Ilikuwa 800 P plus what? Ile equation ilikuwa ngapi?
4A.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say, instead of substituting 25, utaweka ile ngapi? 35. Ili uone effect yake inakuwaje. Other things remain the same. It's only price of other competitor. Are we together? Kwa maana yake, if you substitute, you will get this one. The same procedures, kule. Utapata ngapi? 66. Are we together? So demand equation ya kwanza itakuwa ni hii hapa. This is the D1. And the demand equation, the second demand equation, itakuwa ngapi? After allowing the price of other competitor being 35, manake demand equation ya pili itakuwa ngapi? Itakuwa 66,000 na ngapi niambiwe. So you can sketch it. How do you sketch it? Ngoja tuonyeshe tu kwa pamoja hapa. D1, tumesema D1 ni ngapi? QD is 64,000. sorry, minus 80 100p, right? Alafu D2 baada ya zile nani kuzincorporate, sorry, ilikuwa ni 60 ngapi? Baada ile price ya competitor kuongezeka minus 800 what p. What I just want to show the effect now by sketching. Sawa. Sasa ukitaka kusketch hapa, yeah, just use the intercept. Use what? Use intercept ili uweze kuzionyesha vizuri kwa x axis na y axis. For example, for D1. For D1, right? If let's say if QD ikiwa 0. Hapa kama QD ikiwa 0, what is P? P itakuwa ngapi? Itakuwa 800.
80.
80 au 800? 80.
80.
Haya. Okay, come to the other side. If you put P0, QD itakuwa ngapi?
64,000.
Itakuwa 64,000, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is for D1. For D2, if QD is equal to what? Tunaangalia Q2 sasa. If QD is equal to 0, P itakuwa ngapi? 82, eh?
82.
Point something, right? And if P is equal to 0, manake QD itakuwa ni 66. You get it?
Yes.
Itakuwa 66, right? Sasa hapa what I'm trying is just to unatengeneza tu na curve yako kuonyesha zile effect. Sawa? This is quantity. This is what? This is price. Unaonyesha zote ya D1 and D2, right? Remember here is 0. Sawa? Sasa if P is 0, let's start for D1. If P is 0, right? No. Tuanze na hapa.
Yes.
If Q is 0, sawa? Manake P is what? If Q is 0, manake P itakuwa ngapi? 80. Alafu quantity itakuwa ngapi? Okay. And if P is 0, quantity tumeona inakuwa ngapi? 68,000. You get it?
Yes.
Kwa manake ile D1 itakuwa hivi. This is D1, right? Na ile D2 tuliona if P is 0, if Q is 0, P inakuwa ni semana ngapi?
82.
Yeah, and if P is 0 inakuwa ni 60 ngapi?
66,000.
66,000. Kwa hiyo maana yake itakuwa hivi, sawa? Kwa maana yake price effect yake itaonekana kwenye price itaongezeka kwa 2 plus
Dr. usikiki.
I had an internet problem, electricity problem. Do you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
Do you see the slide in Ion?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor, I'm hear you.
And the slide?
slide was
No.
not even seen.
Don't see the slide. Okay, let me share it. So let me share. Do you see now? This is the slide. Hello.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, doctor, we are
Yes,
following.
yes, doctor. We see it.
Yes.
We can see now,
Okay.
doctor.
I think now you are aware about this one. So this is the effect. So let's see another example. Another example, as we did last time, it's all about other factors. How does other factors affect demand? Kwa mfano, you have given this equation, okay? This is a demand equation, but within the demand equation, you are having other factors. This is the price, this is income, this is what? Advertisement. Okay? Suppose now this represent QX represent the amount consumed, PX is the price of good X, PY is the price of good Y, M is income. Now, suppose good X, PX is what? Suppose PX is equal 200, sawa? No, is equal to, wait, is 200, right? And the price of other commodity is given by what? Group 15, right? And the company utilize what? 2,000 units of advertisement. Manake advertisement is what? 2,000, right? And the income is what? Income is M is 10,000. These are factor the value of other factors that can affect demand. Now, what the question needs? The question requires you to find how much good X do consumer purchase. That means you are supposed to find what? QD. You just substitute those values minus what is PX? PX is 200, right? Plus 4. What is the price of other? Ilikuwa ni 15. Si ndo manake? Then minus 1 times what? What is M? M means income. 1,000.
10,000.
Winiswai, please mute your computer. Plus 2 times advertisement. What is the advertisement? It's 2,000. What is the demand? What is the demand quantity there? Demand. If you substitute, utapata value hapo. What do you get? Can you solve, please? Natumia computer. Nani calculator?
Yes, doctor.
What do you get?
5460 minus 3px.
Okay. Unapata 54,000? Eh?
Yes. 5460 minus. Yes.
460.
Okay, this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the quantity of what? Now, how much good X do consumer purchase? So consumer will purchase 5,460 what? Units of good. Now, another question they are asking you, are good X and the Y substitute or complement? Now I ask you, are good X substitute? Are good X and the Y substitute or complement? How do you realize that this good X is substitute or is complement?
Substitute.
Yeah, when you say substitute or complement, you just rely to the price. Yeah, so by looking here, are this good is substitute or complement? You can, if you want to know whether this good is substitute or complement, you have to consider the sign. So, the sign. For example, you can just test. If I increase, for example, before the price of Y was 15, kwa mfano price of competitor hapa ni 10 na ngapi? 15, sio? Suppose you put 20 plus 20. The question is, will the demand of consumer increase or decrease? Tumeona kwamba other factors remain constant. Tumeingiza hizi tukapata 5460, sawa? Now, if you increase PY, price of competitor, by 20, what do you expect demand? Will increase or decrease?
Increase.
Yeah, demand itaongezeka demand ya X. Sawa? Sasa, if you increase the price of if the competitor increase the price, what do you expect the commodity of the other good? The demand increase. What is that commodity? Is that a substitute or complement?
Substitute.
Yeah, that is a substitute. Okay? Kwa sababu bei ya mshindani wako ameongezea, manake kama umeongeza bei ya mshindani wako, manunuzi ya X yamefanyaje? Yameongezeka. Do you understand?
Yes, we got you.
Okay. Good X normal or inferior? If you are talking about normal or inferior, you talk about income, right?
Yes.
As I've said, if income increases, we expect the demand for that good increase for normal goods, right? Sasa kwa mfano hapa income yako ni 10,000. You understand? If suppose the income increases to 20,000, not 10,000, what do you expect? Manake demand inaongezeka, inapungua, sawa? Kwa hiyo what is this good?
Inferior good.
Yeah, that is inferior, obviously. Yeah. Kama ningeweka plus hapa, manake there is a positive relation. Sawa? Manake if I increase the income, it's obvious hii good ingeongezeka. Manake this, instead of being normal good, this would be what?
A normal.
Instead of being inferior, this would be normal good because of the sign. Are we together?
Yes.
Yeah. This was just computation. Yeah, okay, you got this one, right? And now the question was, are these good? Are these substitute or complement? These are what? These are substitute because the increase in the price of Y has led to an increase in the price of what? Of X. So, and the good is what? Inferior, because increase in income it may lead to decrease in what? In the demand of good X. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, this is just the same question, but this question, mnasikia? This question ni, kuna vitabu fulani kwa nimevisema sema hapa. If you are interested, you can just consult Ciara Agnes. Ni maswali ambayo yapo. This book has so many questions. You can practice them. You can use it in everywhere because it's just a managerial book. Ina theories nyingi sana ambazo you can just apply it. So if you need it, you can just consult Ciara. I'm just trying to select a few issues relating to the topic. But if you want to do more questions, this book has questions, it has solutions, so it can help you a lot. Kwa mfano ukiangalia hili swali, it's a quiz kind, and we can do this as an, I don't know whether it can be an individual. Okay, can we do it as an individual? Ngoja nitawaandalia maswali ya individual assignment, mawili matatu, sawa? and then wali upload it in the system, e-learning system. Okay?
Thank you.
Lastly, kuna vitu hapa niliongelea, it's about this was about the significance of demand analysis. The main advantage or significance of this is very crucial for business, policymakers, economists to predict the future demand for goods and what? And the service. Kwa sababu it's all about forecasting. So you can use this data or demand analysis to predict or to forecast. Using those data to analyze, unaweza ukapredict pattern or trend, any other. No. These are just minor issues. Lakini how are we using this for forecasting? This can guide us in pricing. It can guide us. Demand analysis can guide us in production, and the demand analysis can guide us in what? Inventory decision. For example, in a pricing decision, you can accurately forecast what amount of what good you want to purchase when, based on the price. For example, if the demand is expected as the supply side, manake kama muuzaji, business can increase what? Price to maximize the profit. The higher the demand, the higher the price. Yani kwa wafanyabiashara kama demand ni kubwa, manake they want to maximize the profit. Si ndo manake kama vitu ni vichache afu demand ni kubwa. If the higher demand is expected, it's obvious the price inaweza kaongezeka. You get it? Are you together? This is just an example of airline tickets. Huwa mara nyingi zinaongezeka during a peak season. For example, during December or holiday seasons, most of students, international students, they travel everywhere. That means expect the price of airline tickets to what? To increase. That means that's the time where businesses, firms, they increase what? Wanaongeza bei. I'm just explaining how demand forecasting can guide us in pricing, can guide us in production, can guide us in what? Inventory decision. In the aspect of pricing decision, we can decide the price depending on the demand rate. So, if we expect the demand to increase, it's obvious the price can what? Can increase. Kwa maana hiyo forecasting imekusaidia kufanya price decision. Are we together? If low demand is expected, it's obvious there is a decrease in what? In price. In production perspectives, for example, if you are forecasting help producers to plan their production schedules to avoid shortages or what? Inventory. Kwa mfano, if higher demand is expected, kama mahitaji yanategemewa kuwa makubwa, manake the producers should increase what? Increase amount of good. Okay? Wanaongeza amount of goods in order to meet the demand. Sawa. Also for the lower side, if demand is expected to decline, manake if you anticipate the demand will decrease, manake firms have to scale down their production. So, likely for inventory management depends on the demand prediction. If there is anticipation of high demand, stock up on the lower. That means you have to what? To increase what? Stock ili uweze kumiti zile demand za watu. Sawa. Similarly so I think for today, let's end up here. You can do these questions by yourself. We have tried to solve some of the questions. Nadhani tumeshaifanya. Nakumbuka? We did this question. So there are so many questions here. You can do it by yourself. Yeah, so many questions. I will pick within these questions some of the questions to do as what? As an individual assignment, because you have already done it. No, is as a group, not individual, because you have already done an individual, right?
Yeah.
You can just group yourself and do it like, najua nyie tayari na magrupu yenu. Sawa?
Sawa daktari.
Otherwise, kama utahitaji kile kitabu basi mwasiliane na Siara hapo. Kina maswali mengi ambayo yanaweza kawasaidia in one way or another. Otherwise, let me share you this. Do you need this slide as well?
Yes,
You
yes.
have it. Okay.
Ndio doctor. Yes
Ngoja
doctor.
let
Yes,
me
doctor.
share it. Otherwise, let's call it a day and let's meet next week for market, for types of market structure. Sawa. Ngoja ni share hizi slide kwanza hapo. Let me share this one.
Sasa samahani kidogo dokta.
Ndio.
Manake tukienda hiyo inayofuata marketing structure tunaweza tosha maliza sasa somo. Manake tutakuwa imebaki labda topic moja.
Itabaki
Kumbuka investment.
ya itabaki ile nani? Itabaki ile mambo ya capital budgeting yale.
Ndio investment approach.
Yeah.
Hivi game theory au ndio kwenye market?
Market.
Ndio kuna game theory.
No, game theory sitafundisha. Ni hiyo tu nani hiyo. Nitapitisha hiyo nini hiyo.
Types of marketing.
Yeah, market na some issues.
Okay.
After the capital budgeting. Capital budgeting hata mtaendelea hapo. Kuna mwalimu mmoja atawapitisha.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, doctor.
Yeah.
Si ile individual assignment tunasubiri mfumo kae sana ndo submit.
Ipi? Sorry? What?
Ile individual assignment tunatoa mwanzo.
Ina shida gani?
Nilikuwa naomba kufahamu kwamba tunasubiri mfumo kae sana ndio tuweze kusubmit.
Ase, hamjaambiwa kwamba mfumo ulishakaa sawa? Mfumo uko sawa, isipokuwa nilikuwa nimeshaweka deadline.
Mbona tushachelewa blaza?
Tusha submit.
Dokta, hiyo kazi ishafanyika na deadline watu walishaambiwa na tulikumbushana kwenye grupu. Labda kama mtu alikuwa hajaingia kwenye mudo na hajaingia pia kwenye grupu. Kwa hiyo dokta, hiyo kazi tayari. Kama yeye alikuwa hajafanya aombe excuse hapo, uone namna ya kumsaidia.
Yeah, itabidi ani consult basi ni box hapo. Tuone tunafanyaje.
Dokta, tunaomba ututumie hizi notes.
Yeah, ngoja I want to share it now. Hapa subiri. Ila hiyo ya hizi za nani na upload sasa hivi. Hizi ambazo tumezipitia leo kwenye e-learning system. Hii slide 4 and I think 5 or 4, yeah, I will upload it. Slide. This one slide 1 ile slide imeipata ile slide 5
ya cost theory
nimeshaituma kwenye group.
Yeah.
I'm not sure kama imeipata kwenye chat box. Imeipata hiyo slide 2 and 5 na 5 nimetuma.
Haijafika.
Hapa tuna slide 2.
Zote zipo. 5 ipo. Hamjaiona?
Whoever anayeipata
slide 5 haijafika dokta. Iko slide 2.
And 5. Okay, let me share. Ngoja ni share tena. Ngoja ni share. Yeah, that one.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you, doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
All the best, yani. Weekend njema, sweet holiday.
Thank you, Doctor.
Happy May Day.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
You too, Doctor.
So what about
Thank you
slide?
very much, Doctor.
Jamani, mtusaidie kushare notes kwenye WhatsApp, wengine hatuwezi kunanili kuchukua hivi.
Happy May Day, Doctor. Wakaongezewe mshahara kesho.
Samahani jamani wapendwa, kwenye magrupu wa match intake mmeshatengeneza
Magrupu ya nini Flora?
match intake hiyo? Amesema tu kuna assignment zingine hapo tunafanya kwa grupu. Mimi sina grupu, ni match intake. Naomba kuuliza.
Hapo Dar es Salaam kote huna grupu dada?
Sina, nilichelewa kidogo kuingia, sina.
Magrupu hayakutengenezwa mama.
Hivi. Kwa hiyo